Orban seems to be floating a Christmas ceasefire and a prisoner swap. Is he carrying with him some kind of message from Donald Trump?
Well, Orban has regular engagement with the Russians, and he clearly has a good relationship with President Trump. And I would hope the entire world would want to see some type of cessation to the slaughter that is happening in eastern Ukraine. I mean, Margaret,
did Mr. Trump ask him to do that?
This is World War I style. This is World War I style warfare. It is a meat grinder of human beings. President Trump's been very concerned about the carnage that's ongoing, and where is this all going?
Right.
We need to stop the fighting. You know, look, if that is some type of ceasefire as a first step, again, we'll take a hard look at what that means. But until January 20th, we are also in coordination with this current administration.
Okay, so no message was sent through Orban to Putin by Trump. That's what I understand you saying there?
Oh, I'm not going to. Yeah, I'm not going to get into specifics of back and forths.
Okay.
But one is talking. Of course, we're going to continue to talk. And the President Trump's made it clear he wants this war to stop.
Does the Trump team plan to limit how Ukraine can use U.S. weapons or targeting assistance when you take office?
Well, I mean, President Trump just said in the interview that, you know, a blank check in his interview with Time Magazine, I believe, you know, a blank check isn't, you know, just isn't a strategy. This just kind of forever war that we seem to be backing into. What does success look like in line with our interest? How do we end the war? Who's at the table? How do we drive you know, all sides to the table? And what's the framework for an agreement? Those are things that we're thinking through with his fantastic team that he's assembling.
Was that discussed in that 45-minute meeting that Mr. Trump had with Mr. Zelensky in Paris last week? And do you support putting NATO member states as peacekeepers in Ukraine?
Well, you know what's been so interesting, Margaret, is just since the election, everyone coming to us, our European allies, President Zelensky in that meeting, and others have shifted to that framework I just talked about.
Yeah.
How do we end this conflict? How do we do it in a way that restores stability, stops the carnage, and hopefully you know, makes this a permanent end, not just a pause. Those are all things that we're thinking through. And in terms of, you know, the question you just asked, the NATO Secretary General came here to Mar-a-Lago. He's talking about the Europeans taking a bigger role in whether that's on the ground or otherwise after this conflict is over. And that's exactly what President Trump has been asking for.